Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. So today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit differently, but also still kind of the same. Today we are going to be talking about the brand new character Ember, and this is the breakdown portion of the video. What I'm going to do a little bit differently this time is that I have actually not built her yet. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through everything like I normally would. However, when we get down to the gear portion, I'm going to build it as we go, and I'm going to explain my thinking while I do it. I'm going to try something a little bit new just to see how you guys like it, how you guys feel about it. If you guys like that way of doing it, then I'll probably just do it that way from now on. I just wanted to experiment a little bit with it and just to see what it kind of looked like. First things first, like always, we're going to go over her skills. First, she is well, I guess we should first mention, she is a fire, she is a defender, she is a sweeper. That being part of her kit means that she's still going to be kind of bulky because of her defender class, but the sweeper class makes it a little bit more, I don't know, I think it makes it a little bit more offensive rather than being purely defensive when it comes to someone like Hild. Hild is very, very, very defensive and really doesn't have a lot of other purposes other than being very defensive. Ember seems like she could do very good being offensive. She seems kind of like tanky DPS, if that makes sense. But obviously she's not going to do as much as some of your strikers. So first things first, we're going to cover her skills. Ember Charge. So, attacks an enemy and inflicts marked on the caster for 1 turn. Marked automatically becomes a target for attacks and takes increased damage. And inflicts marked on the caster. That seems to me like she's going to be essentially putting that on herself. So by putting marked on herself means that she's going to take the brunt of attack and automatically becomes a target for attacks and takes increased damage. So I think she's actually going to be doing that to herself. And then when the caster is granted Radiant Will, changes to Help Me Master. Help Me Master attacks an enemy and inflicts taunted on the target for 1 turn, increases damage dealt. And then Burst 1 grants Radiant Will for 1 turn. At level Burst 2 grants a barrier proportional to her attack. And Burst 3 is a +1 turn debuff duration. So she's another way to get more debuff increased other than just the twins. The twins are very good about that. But she's another way to extend those debuffs, which is quite nice. Burning Injustice. Damage taken by all enemies increases proportional to the number of debuffs inflicted on them. After being hit, has a 65% chance each to inflict burned on all enemies for 2 turns. So, she seems like the kind of person that is going to get hit and then fire burn stacks and make the opponents kind of hate life. She seems like a way to get taunted, and she's going to be taking, she's going to be taking a lot of damage, is how I'm looking at this so far. Damage taken by all enemies increases proportional to the number of debuffs. So her damage is going to go up the more debuffs that they have.
Music licensing reimagined.
Ember, you're driving me nuts here. So her damage is going to go up based on the amount of debuffs on them. Every time she gets hit, she has after you max it out, a 100% chance to inflict burned on all enemies for 2 turns. Her first one, marked on the caster for 1 turn, so she'll get marked and make herself the target. The reason why you do that is because then it takes Burning Injustice. After being hit, you inflict those burn stacks. Got it. Blaze Like a Flame is her S3. Grants Radiant Will for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies. After attacking, inflicts reduced evasion on the target for 2 turns. Right after using the skill, does not trigger an enemy's counterattack, revenge, or agile response. So another way to another way to just get Radiant Will, and also a way to bypass like Gnosis, Dahlia's counterattack, and anything else. Also, Radiant Will increases burn damage dealt by allies by 50% and changes certain skills. that means that just your burn damage is going to go up. So she would pair really well with Maxie. I think that's the right twin. Maxie, the red one. Let me double check that. Where is she? Yep, Maxie is the red twin. I can never remember which twin is which. Maxie like magma. I gotta remember that. So with that, on top of that, she has a chain finish effect. After attacking, has a 100% chance to grant Radiant Will for 2 turns. Again, Radiant Will does the increased burn damage, which can be quite helpful. The next thing we're going to look at is her star levels. 3 stars where you get her, you get burst level 2. At 4 stars, she gets a bonus to ally team evasion. At 5 stars, she gets burst level 3, and at 6 stars, she gets plus 2% ally team evasion and plus 25 action points at battle start, which is not the best, but it can be helpful. Her exclusive equipment, Rock and Tante, whatever the fuck that is pronounced, I have no idea. Accuracy to Earth is increased by 30.
Music licensing reimagined.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. I might still have to sneeze again. I'm not sure yet. Its exclusive effect increases effectiveness of the wearer by 100%. So, that is why her effectiveness is already increased by 80, because her effectiveness is essentially doubled. Knowing that, that is going to help her land those debuff stacks. Now, let me see, who's my main debuffer? Nella. What is her effectiveness? 407. And for the most part, that always hits. But she also is very geared toward effectiveness, because she gets a 100% effectiveness bonus, and then I souped her up with effectiveness and accuracy stuff. So doing it this way, realistically, the way I see this going with her stats is you want a high HP and defense. You really want a high HP and defense. You could really pick one or the other, but you want one really high because you want her to be able to take a lot of damage, or at least a good bit of damage. Next, you do want her to have a good amount of attack, because that's going to directly correlate to your debuffs. And also, you want her to have a good amount of speed and effectiveness in order to make sure we land those debuffs. This one, I can understand why she'd be a little tricky. First things first, we're going to take a look at the weapons. I'm going to just look at 6 stars. Let's see. Exquisite Death would not be bad, because then being able to buff everyone else's damage proportional to her defense is another way to increase that burn damage. We could do Force Field Generator. That wouldn't be bad either. Talisman of Animosity is not that great. Token of the Supreme Witch, that's alright. I think we're going to use a defense formatted Exquisite Death. So what's this one looking like? 9% health, 200 defense, 7.5. That's not that great. Accuracy, crit chance, speed, defense. Again, not that great. Accuracy, speed. Wow, that one's really bad. Why do I have that one? Resilience, health, speed, accuracy. Wow, that one's almost worse. Effectiveness, accuracy, resilience, attack. This one isn't too bad. Mainly because we need a good amount of accuracy to make sure that a lot of our debuffs stick. Resilience would probably be the one that I could be okay with getting rid of. So we'll definitely throw that on that Exquisite Death. Next thing for accessory, Unholy Exultet. That one's not bad, because just reducing the enemy's team attack is never a bad thing. We got Charmer's Necklace. I mean, I wonder if Charmer's Necklace would proc with her S2, because that would be very interesting if it procs with her S2. I don't think Coward's Treasure is really all that great for her. Unholy Exultet, I could understand making sense, because reducing their attack, and then she's taking damage anyways. But also, I'm curious to see how Charmer's Necklace works. But for now, we're going to use Unholy Exultet. This one's not bad. That one's okay.
Artlist.io.
That one's pretty awful. That one's okay. Ah, this is the one we want. This is definitely the one we want for her. Because we're getting defense, health, accuracy, and a little bit of attack. For this one, I think I want flat attack more. Flat attack, I think, will be more helpful on the accessory here. For gear set, what are we thinking? I'm honestly thinking that we want probably attack set, if I'm gonna be honest. Attack set with like a good, like, bulk kind of investment here. Are they? You guys seeing that?
Artlist.io.
That what? What in the world? Okay. I'm honestly kind of lost. We'll take that one. I'm genuinely baffled with that. Effectiveness, resilience, speed, accuracy, crit chance, attack, effectiveness, speed, health, defense, health, crit chance. I like this one the best out of those. I only have one of these. Attack, crit chance, accuracy, effectiveness. That's fine, I guess. Between these two, I kind of like the bottom one more. Yeah, I like the bottom one more for kind of what we're going for here. So let's take a look at this once we get all of this done, and we'll take a look at her stats and see what they're looking like. I'm not going to worry about breaking through the gear yet. I want to just take a look at what the stats are looking like once we get this done, just to see. Okay, so the way this will work is now, so increased damage dealt by allies proportional to her defense. We have some good defensive percentages on here. We have Unholy Exultate here, which is going to increase her speed and reduce the enemies at team attack. And then we have an attack set to buff her attack by an additional 40%. Okay, who are we looking at? Okay, 30,000 total combat power. We got a little over 3k attack, a little over 3k defense, almost 11k health. We're almost at 150 speed. Effectiveness is at 196. I'd like to break that over 200 if we could. Accuracy, if I could get accuracy to be above 300, I would probably like it to be above 300. But chances of that happening are pretty low. But honestly, looking pretty solid with that. I'm not gonna lie. The only other thing that I could think of is giving her a talisman. And I just have 2 Rogue's Charms of 6 stars. Do I have anything for 5 stars right now? Executioner's Charm and Undertaker's Charm. I guess we can do Executioner's Charm for now, just to give her a little bit of extra attack. Did that buff her? Yep. There we go. Now we're looking at almost 3,500 attack. That's a little bit better. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Special gear for her exclusive equipment really quickly. I definitely want to throw attack onto it, but at the same time, I also don't want to just throw pure attack onto hers, especially because she is kind of a supporty kind of defense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on 2 attack gems, and then I'm going to put on 2 defense gems. We're really going to beef up her defense because we want her defense to be as high as possible, because remember, her defense is also going to help everyone else do extra damage at the same time. So it's not just like her defense is going to help her stay alive, but her defense is also going to allow her to kind of stay in those fights a lot longer.
Music licensing reimagined.
And not only that, but also like be able to stand toe to toe with her team a little bit better. I think it will just work out a bit better that way. The next thing I want to do is I think it's worth doing some breakdown on her gear. I think I want to start with her weapon. Her weapon definitely has the most to benefit. kept a lot of these. I'll do this one. I'll cap it out with those. And then I'll just reforge it all the way, because I think no matter what, like, the worst option that it can get with the reforge is resilience, in my opinion. On this, accuracy is really nice, especially with a lot of the high evasion units we have nowadays. Effectiveness will help just keep those burn debuffs, speaking of effectiveness. And then resilience is kind of the worst one, because nobody really builds resilience to, like, ignore those debuffs. But we can always change resilience to something else if I really want to. Let's try it a little bit. Let's see, what can we get. Oh, we got health. All right, we'll just lock that in. We'll just lock that in now. So that was easy. Breakthrough on Unholy Exultate. I'll do this. I'll do that one.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, that one's probably fine. That's probably all right. Give her a little bit of extra speed. It can be helpful. Yeah, that little extra speed is super nice to have sometimes. So, anyways, while I am doing this, I figured I could also take this opportunity to kind of talk to you guys about some current developments. Unfortunately, and this is going to come as some sad news for all parties involved, Shiro is no longer editing for me. Not, like, we're good, like, as friends and everything still. He just said that he wanted to take some time and really focus on himself and really focus on what he could do to better his own life. And trying to be as understanding as I can, I encouraged him to do what he felt was right, because he was kind of on the fence about leaving or staying. And I told him that no matter what, I would always, I would always be here. I'm going to keep making content. It just means I'm going to have to edit myself. So, prepare for a little bit worse edits, you guys. My apologies. Damn, nice 20% attack. We take that. We take those. Prepare for a little bit worse editing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My editing is nowhere near as good as his. However, I will do everything in my power to make it as good as possible. I'm definitely going to miss him being around for editing. I knew I could always kind of count on him for really, really solid edits. So if you guys can just give me some comments, maybe letting him know that he'll be missed, that we appreciated all the work that he did for the channel, all the help that he gave me in starting what I had, shouting me out on his channel himself, really trying to just get my name started. I appreciate him for everything that he did, and I hope that he is able to prosper in whatever path he chooses. I do secretly hope that one day he does come back and edits for me again. However, I am also accepting of the idea that maybe that will never happen. I'm totally okay with that. If that doesn't come to pass and he's able to do his own thing, go for it, man. I really hope that his life is able to be as good as possible. I hope good things for him. He deserves them. So yeah, I'll be doing the editing. I made the thumbnail. I still am in contact with him, so I am going to be, he gave me a Google document with all the different tips and tricks he possibly could think of to even remotely help me out when it comes to editing. So big shout out for him for that. And if I'm ever in a pickle when it comes to editing, I know I can always ask him for help, and he'll be right there to help me. I know that for a fact. I know I can always count on him. Something I will say though, moving on, is that I am really gonna miss being able to kind of ask him for crazy stuff when it comes to editing. So take it easy on me, you guys. And with that is Ember being built. Hopefully this was a nice little change of pace. And we're going to take a look to see what her stats are right now. Before I do, though, I'm going to take a look to see where she falls. Is she in the top 5 or top 6? She's not in the top 6. She is, however, my 12th strongest unit, passing Nella, Air, and Stella, just falling underneath Mava, though. Go down in the comments right now. I'll give you a couple seconds. Guess what her CP is going to be. My guess is that it's probably going to be somewhere around 37,000 is my guess. Is around 37,000. So leave me your guesses down below. Let me know what you think. And then after I reveal it, maybe reply to your comment. Tell me if you were right or wrong. For example, I'll show you Mava. She's at 41. So Mava's at 41, almost 42. And Ember fall right below. That's why my guess is 37,000. And she is at... Oh, damn. She's at 41,000. Okay. Well, looking at her stats, we have broken 4K attack. We're almost at 3,500 defense. We're at 12,000 health. We're at 175 speed. Not bad. We have a 50% crit chance, 162% crit damage. We only got an additional 12%, but not too worried about that. Accuracy, we're at 263. Evasion, 244. Effectiveness, we're at 200. And resilience, we're at 180. Not bad. The only thing, looking at this, I genuinely think that Ember becomes a very solid character to put onto a Chimera team. Let's see. Do I have my Chimera team? I do have my... well, this isn't my Chimera team. Genuinely, so for Chimera, looking at this, Cannon is still a very good character to bring. Air is also definitely a good character to bring. And then most teams look something along the lines of like this, or maybe that. Because, I mean, Tamamo has a great one with increased boss damage of fire element heroes. But at the same time, you could also probably change this up and do something like this if you wanted to, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe something like that. I mean, you could, honestly, you could probably even do this. But at the same time, now you're missing a mage in order for Maxi to proc. We want, because of how, what is it, together as one? Yeah. When an ally mage attacks. So then maybe we do this and we take, maybe we do take Tamamo with that. I think maybe something like this might be really spicy for a Chimera team. I think that could be really, really cool. Just because you have Cannon as just good DPS, you have Maxi as a way to lay on those debuffs really hard, you have Ember to keep those debuffs on and to stack her own debuffs as a whole, and then you have Tamamo to just be obnoxious with her debuffs and Eternal Enlightenment, Nirvana's Inferno, just being obnoxious and being able to really shut down the Chimera boss. I think this could be a really interesting team. I'm gonna save this and I might test it out later on a different date, just to see how it goes. Just because I am kind of curious to see how that will work. And with that, I'm gonna leave this episode here. I hope you guys found this enjoyable. I hope you guys learned something from it. And I hope you guys like the change of pace. Bear with me a little bit on the editing. I'm going to do everything I can to make it a little bit better. Honestly, I don't think I need to edit too much to this. Hopefully, if I remember, I put some background music in. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I'm going to. I hope I did. I really hope I did. And we're going to see what happens, all right? So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.